Okay, let's call this meeting to order. 10:02, Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. We're here for a further discussion, ongoing discussions for LATCF, SLFRF funding requests. And I guess I'm going to turn it over to Colleen.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be the best thing to do at this point. I didn't realize we were still taking requests. So.
Sort of, but not new. What we're looking for in the SLFRF and LATCF is really just funding shifts for right now. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is the Volunteer Fire Department.
The volunteers.
Yes, which is why Shell is here, and he can fill in some of those. So what previously they were approved to put in doors and to get a generator on the fire department there in Mullen. So they've completed the door project, and it came in under the budget. And then the generators, they've had to kind of shift that because of the way it needs to be installed, and so they're a little bit over budget on that. So the bids quotes that I sent to you are 11,000. I have the number here somewhere. I know. $11,259.54.39. So what's left in the generator fund is $7,000. So, but they have $12,000 left total that was approved for them to use for the purposes of the Mullen Fire Department. And just kind of a background on that, they also use that as a shelter and a staging point because you can come off of I-90 when you're stuck up there on the pass, and they have warming centers planned and things like that, why they use the generators. And they had to get a new door because it wasn't doing so good anymore. So that's the underlying of this one is just taking that $12,000 of unspent fund that has already been approved for their use and just shifting the purposes of it to complete the generator from the door fund that is already completed.
Help me and the public watching this understand, how does this differ from what we just turned down with the Lions asking for a shift in funds? Is it because the Lions were asking for a shift to something that was not in the original proposal?
Correct.
And this is a shift to something that was in the original proposal.
Right, and because of the cost of the installation, and I'd let you go into more about the technical on the electrical and all of those things, to complete what was already approved, it is costing more money to get it done.
So if I'm understanding you right, there's enough left over from the doors to cover.
Correct.
So all we're doing is shifting. They're still within the original proposal.
Absolutely. Unless something wonky happens, they'll still come in under budget for the two projects as well.
Okay.
So it'll be about 1,000 total under budget. If that makes sense. Yeah, it started off with the garage doors. Once we hit a radio, before leaving the door, it would shut. And so it's a 1960s technology, not giant radios. We've tried to correct that. That's for the Mullen City Hall that shares. It's the overarching entity for the Mullen Volunteer Fire Department. We utilized, for the generator side of things, we utilized the city crew to do the concrete work. We had a donation of around $3,000 for the cage install from a private company for what goes around the generator. So we tried our dangest, and then the new electric bid, we reached out to Vista, multiple companies local, and this individual said per code we had to get 2 transfer switches to run the City Hall building total Mullen Volunteer Fire Department. We had 200 amp and a 400 amp, so that increased, we needed 2 transfer switches per code. We were relying on 1 from the original bid, and then trying to find somebody to put in the gas. We were well into June, August, and I had this company actually do some at F&H. They were the lowest bid there. I asked them for a quote when they were up this direction, and that's what they came to. So that was the increase in overrun, was an extra transfer switch. You'll see the cost for that, the Northwest generator, and then just the bid for the install. So, but we did save about $4,500 total. installing concrete generator, things like that in the city.
Okay. Questions from the board or motion? Anybody interested in a motion at this point?
I'll motion to approve it. I think this is was an unseen expense, and since it's all within the same original fund, it's just reallocating it toward from another source that they saved on. I think we can do that.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Nope.
The point I just wanted to clarify for the public is that we did turn down a request from last week because they were asking us to take their savings and apply it to a new item that had not been in the original proposal. And we had to say no to that because we're starting to rein these funds back in to take care of the county's needs. But in this case, I think it's pretty clear that it was within the original proposal. Mm-hmm. So with that, I'd take it to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously to approve that. Okay. Appreciate all your work in getting that done.
Thank you.
In your spare time.
Yeah.
Okay. Madam Grant Administrator, what else have you got?
So the next one, and I was kind of hoping the captains would be here, but I'll go ahead and proceed with that. And you guys can do what you need to or where you feel comfortable with this. So the next one, Captain Green had spoken when we were talking about the cars and had those approved. But the wrap to get the decals, the Shoshone County Sheriff's Office decals on the new cars had not been included in any of the quotes. And it's an outside accessories thing. So it was something that they wanted to shift the funding from
savings on their
the
push
savings
bumpers.
on the push bumpers. Yeah, so they didn't have to put bumpers on the new cars, is why they wanted to use that $5,000 from that and put it into the so there was a sheet that I sent to you, and this is specific to the LATCF one. Mm-hmm. So the push bumper, they had requested 10 to be purchased, and they did 8 of those. 2 of them they don't need to because of the way the new cars were outfitted, as I understand it. So they wanted to use the amount, that $5,000, to go ahead and do the stickering on the new rigs.
Okay, so we're just using the remainder.
Correct. Nothing new or additional.
And it's for the county. So
Correct. Yeah.
it's just something we can use grant money instead of tax money.
Correct.
Okay.
And nothing new or above and beyond what's already been allocated, and I'll keep it out there.
I would motion to approve that. Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so that's taken care of.
Awesome. Okay, and I don't know if Captain Lopez had sent you the letter or not yet. I told him that I was going to bring this here today.
Okay.
So this is something new,
Mm-hmm.
but it is, again, one of those safety things. Has he sent his letter to you?
I have not received anything.
Nope.
Okay. So again, I'll put this, if you guys want to discuss it, we can. If you'd like to wait until Captain Lopez has the opportunity to be here. But what has come up in working through the jail issues and some of the issues that they're having is the electronic locks are failing. And so they're having a lot of concerns with safety. And he did address this in a letter, and I can, ask him to send this on to you. Mm-hmm. But it was, they've done some quotes, and he does have quotes, I just haven't seen them yet, to install 2 rebuilt electronic locks. They come to $1,425 each,
Okay.
or new ones are $25.99. It seems like they're similar. One is just refurbished and one is brand new. So I've spoken a little bit with Max and Captain Lopez on what that looks like as far as, the cost efficiency of them. Is there a better warranty? Is there anything that's different between the 2 of them? And it doesn't seem like there is, but I would have to have one of them address that. And I haven't seen the quotes that came in, but I just have the dollar amounts. And so they if that's something you wanted to discuss today, it would either be $28.51 for refurbished or $5,200 for brand new logs. And that's where that second part of they had the padding on the cell block, they came in at $13,000 under budget. The RFID inmate monitoring system, they came in at $15,000 under budget. And the clothes washer, the new clothes washer, they came in at $1,800 under budget. So they could shift that out of any of those that were specific to the jail to cover the installation of these new locks, the electronic locks. And he does address concerns about safety. It also creates a log of entries in and out. So it just is, it's a way to really monitor it better, who's coming and going and when, and really help increase the safety for the detention officers.
Well, I don't have any problem with that, but I would like to hear from him, I think, before I take action on it, just to make sure we're,
Yeah.
does that work for you too?
Yes.
Okay, so if we just tell him we're favorable, but we'd like to hear from him directly and have an explanation.
And the actual
And
documents.
bring bids.
Yeah.
And we'd like to see the bids.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, anything further?
Nope, I don't think so. That was everything on my list.
Okay, anything further from the commission?
No?
All right, then with that, we are adjourned.
Awesome.